Start recording. Okay, guys. Hold it. So this video is a little bit about why Docker might not be always the best solution. I was a Docker fan 100%, and I might be wrong, but my VPN provider, that is PreivateInternetAccess, lots of Dockers like OVPN, Prevoxy or Privoxy, whatever, tomato. You have to copy down the OVM file, the open media, what the heck? I can't. So you have to copy down the files and the certificates and everything for OVPN, Privoxy to read it, and yeah, openvpn, so that you it will read when you fire it up. It starts reading it. It should connect you, and then you can go through at the ports from your application and go through OVPN, Prevoxy. There are things out like ZapNZBD, dash VPN, transmission VPN, anything you can download with legal stuff, but you don't want anybody to see because it's nobody's business, right? Just because you have nothing to hide at home, you don't want everybody to see you in the shower, right? They all come by for the looks. No. So we are privacy concerned, and there will be some privacy videos coming soon. They are very, very important, guys. Yeah. In the times we're living, it's pretty important. By the way, in a moment I run a parity check, and this drive, it's pretty new, but it likes to overheat. So I have brakes, I got the window open here, it's -5. Guys, I'll freeze my butt off for you here. So, however, long story short, my solution was everything I had here as Docker. Oh, that's another thing. Here, in a moment you can see that almost 1, 2, 3 drives, 4 drives are active, and the parity drive, right? Usual cache is active too. Cache is on standby because this machine runs on a real SSD drive, so hardware, bare metal. So it doesn't take any from the cache, because in a moment I set up only my domains, my virtual machines to be cached. Yeah, Docker's not, because I don't use much Docker anymore. I've got MB running there, Jellyfin, testing and playing stuff around, right? And when I had Dockers running, kind of different Dockers, right? You know, ZapNZBD, NZBGet, what else? Sonar, Radar, Couch Potato, all the goodies. I had always 4 to 5 drives running plus a parity drive. It never ever stopped, and I set it to 15 minutes to spin down my drives. If I don't run my parity check, I have now the parity drive running and usual this disk, and you can see because it's set to run this disk for filling up and stuff like that. Everything else is not running anymore because it makes your drive super old if they run 24/7, right? And I don't want that. So if they spin down now, that helps me a lot to keep my drives living longer. That's one reason I chose Unraid, because if you have certain materials on one drive, it doesn't run all 7 drives, like a Synology drive or something, right? Or lots of other servers where they all run at once, like FreeNAS and stuff. Any other server, I would think, is running all the drives at all times. You can simulate what Unraid did. No, it sounds bad, simulate, with OpenVPN. So if you don't want to spend any money, you can do almost everything what Unraid does with OpenVPN. It's just Unraid makes it so easy. I would say it's definitely worth the bucks. You know, I'm a click and click guy. I take it as easy as I can. I use terminals where I need to, but usually you copy paste, it's all good, right? So what I did is now I took lots of these Dockers out. I still have some to play around with. You see, it's just me. I'm a nerd. I can't help myself. I have to play around with stuff. So, and you can see I will have OpenSUSE coming up because I got threatened. Not threatened. Where Where is it? Where are my comments here? Oh, what? Oh, what is that? Oh, I want to see everything. Okay, yeah. So, not like a single problem was. Oh, that was that one. Okay, go back. I forgot which one it was. Peter, it was, I think, Koschak or something. He said OpenSUSE is the only way, so I have to install OpenSUSE, as you can see. Oops. To cut a long story short, so here's my dashboard. OpenSUSE, it will take a little bit of time. I have more security stuff coming up, which is more important in a moment than anything else. To run a virtual machine, I used Ubuntu. Actually used Xubuntu. As you know, I like click and play and stuff. And additional, like private internet access. Did I install it here? No, it's not here yet. So if you install private internet access, it shows up here. You can set it to kill switch. That means if your VPN goes down, it kills all internet connections for you. So that's what I want, and it auto connects to your favorite country, whatever you want, and it does what I want. It just dropped in October 2020 the support for manual installation. That's why I believe that OpenVPN, Privoxy, Zap NZBD, VPN, binhack stuff from whoever, it won't work. For me, it doesn't work anymore. I can't make it work. I tried everything, and I said, Dirk, you must be so stupid. Like somebody wrote in the comments, I'm not IT. I must be totally stupid. I can't make it work. So I contacted then the support, which is ridiculous. I thought first it's an AI. I was on Linux and talking about Linux. I told him Unraid and Linux Docker. And he came back and texted me something about Windows. I said, whoa. I said, what makes you think I should have a link about Windows installation when I tell you I've got Unraid and Linux Docker? So, oh yeah, I'm so sorry, it was something else. Yeah, I didn't believe him anymore. So, it's absolutely, let's say, the good thing I had out of this support chat, which was a waste of time, except I got aware that they dropped manual installation. So I believe that lots of OpenVPN, Privoxy stuff won't work anymore, even apps which are set up like that. So there's almost no way around to install their program to run it, which is comfortable. It's a nice thing to do. I like that you have the kill switch option. It auto starts at boot. You can choose all these little things, and it works like a charm. So in my rush, because I wanted to get my stuff going, I used Ubuntu server. The problem then I had, I mean, it's easy to auto start. If you really want me to make a video about Zap NZBD, that's the easiest. Sonar Radar, I will do it. I will do it for you guys, but let me know. So the most important part for me was, I don't want to, what I had before, I had, let's go, this is my Ubuntu version, right? So I created like this, I right click on it. It's a little bit slow because I'm running, you know, I might have to stop my parity here. I'll pause it for a moment, that makes it easier. Go back in my virtual machine. So I created here, create launcher. And for Sonar or this here, for example, I wanted to mount non-protected window shares, which are run from Unraid, right? So they were manually. I had to start this manually. I had to start this manually to make my connection. Then I had to start Sonar Radar, Zap NZBD. So I did all these things, but I don't want that. I want when I mean, when my server starts, I always have to put my passphrase in because everything is encrypted. And I can only recommend encrypt every hard drive you have and use encrypted get it encrypted. So, and with a good password, not just 12 digits. You do this one time, so you can add tons of digits, right? Just something you can remember in worst case scenario, but definitely the special characters, lower, uppercase, numbers, hammer it full. So, long story short, that was too much work. I got lazy. So, oh, now there it is. So I go back to my terminal. What I then did, I tried to mount it in my fstab, and that didn't seem to be easy. For some reason, it didn't work the way I wanted. So what I did, let me see, view, zoom in. Let's see if that works despite my... No. Oh, look what I did. Oh, man. Oh, look at this. Hey, man, I'm not in IT, they say, but... So I went into sudo nano etc fstab. There is no vim. Oh, my super special password. Let me see if that works. Oh, here usually my num key doesn't work, so I have to change that. Okay, so what I did here. So I tried different versions to mount my stuff onto Mount TV. So I put in // the IP address of my server. Remember, it's unprotected, right? Then / the share, then space, then / for Ubuntu I used home, server is my username. Yeah, / home / username of your Ubuntu version, or I do the same with Antiques just because I want to. Yeah, I created on Ubuntu, I created in the user server where the documents, music files are, I created a folder called unraid, because that's where my shares come from. And in unraid, I created a folder called TV, and I created a folder movie. So, and to mount unraid TV, so I get / home / your username / unraid is the main folder / TV is the share I wanted to fire up. And you might have to install cifs tools here. So cif, then comes, after there comes space, after the share. Then comes cifs, then comes space, guest, because that's how you log in usual. And then, comma, uid equals your username. For me, this is server. See? Then comma, and no spaces after these commas, yeah? iocharset, iocharset equals utf-8. Then comes space, comes a 0, then comes space, and then comes another 0. And that should do it. And you can just rinse and repeat with whatever you want, you see. I called it here automount TV, and this one's called automount movies, and you can mount whatever you want, ISO files, so that you have easy access, right? That's how you got to do it. That's how I do it. So now I can go in my VMs. So if I go in my VMs, I set this to auto start. So in the moment I fire up my server, this thing fires up and does everything by itself. What you can't see, I'll click this away. Oh, hold on, I get out properly, right? So I get out of here, doink. I could have gone out with exit, panel preference. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, this is through VNC. This is not running on hardware. It doesn't really have to automatically. No. See, it takes time. Yeah. Say never. Okay. Close. Never say never. So here is that thing. A private internet connection. Is France in a moment. You can use whatever you want, wherever you want. And you can change it at starts up to. It just connects to whatever it finds closest. And if I use my VPN connection, it cuts off my network connection until it's reconnecting. And it does it at boot. No extra stuff needed. So I put all my fire up stuff. Oh, this is so slow, yeah? Okay, start. I just put that in. Then you get something here, session and startup. It's the same in Antiques. It's a little bit different. When I do it there and you want to see it, I'm happy to show. So application auto start. What I did, Sonar. I created that thing. I said add. I wrote Sonar, and if you go here in edit, the way you fire up Sonar is, and I wanted it automatically. It's monos. I think there is a space, yeah. /opt / and that be drone, written like this, yeah, lower cases, higher, upper cases, lower cases. So I just copy the whole text in and trigger on login. So it fires it up once it's logged in. That means once it's logged in, the shares are mounted. So then it can access this and you don't get any trouble stuff whatsoever. Doink. So that's the way to do it. It was not so easy to find how to auto-mount stuff. Somehow, I mean, yeah, I found how to mount it, but manually I didn't like it. That's not what I want. So I did it that way, right? So here, back to this. And yeah, and since I run a virtual machine compared to Docker, my drives are actually idling. I love that a lot. Yeah, my drives are not busy. It's like crazy anymore. So I'm very, very happy with that. And I prefer now to run my virtual machine compared to Docker. Yes, MB, Plex, this stuff I'll still run on Docker because I want to use the power of my what's it called here? My server, right? Because I've got a pretty big CPU running. I've got 32 GB of RAM, 1 TB SSD drive as cache and stuff like that. So it's pretty neat. And you can see I've got my bare metal VM10 running here for games. My Ubuntu server's running in the background, doesn't hurt me much, doesn't do much. It's below 2 GB, I think, with everything running. It's doing fine. So server 10, I think this is a joke. You can't have Windows running stuff, right? Because you can't. This thing is empty. Gaming, I don't have it in my cache drive in a moment. I got it saved. Oh yeah, another thing before we stop here the video. Once my Ubuntu server was done and everything is set up the way I like it, I copied it on my Synology NAS drive. In case anything happens to my machine, I don't have to redo the whole thing. I just copy paste the VM in, create a new one, use the old drive. Duran, I've got everything running the way I want it. And that's the safest way for me. That's why I have it running in a virtual machine with a virtual drive with VNC. It doesn't use any hardware resources really, except the drive. And that's sitting on a cache drive. So it's doing fine. It's totally good. MX19 is a bare metal too, like that window machine. That's my way. I prefer now virtual machines. They seem to be having some advantages. Of course, Docker has their advantage too. But I'm now a virtual machine fan. I can only say it keeps my drives or stops my drives from spinning like crazy. When I had everything I have on that virtual machine on Docker, man, my drives were spinning, all of them, all the time. I have no clue why. Now they don't, and I'm very happy with that. Yeah, that's what I did. And give it a try. I mean, what does it? You don't have to uninstall your Dockers. You can just stop them from running and try with a virtual machine, see what it does for you. I used Ubuntu first because I said, okay, you want to install maybe Sonar, maybe Radar, and that's checking out how that all works, right? If you can install it easily. This is Ubuntu 20.04. The problem is with private internet access, you need a Debian-based distro. So if you use CentOS, you get into trouble, or Fedora, right? That doesn't work well. So it has to be Debian or Ubuntu based stuff. That will do. So Antiques works. I tried it. It easily installs the what's it called? The program to run private internet access. And it works great. It's very responsive, Antiques. I would say faster than Ubuntu. The other thing is, if you want to check your, after you install stuff, let's say so now, and you want to access this, or you have a torrent running, once you run it from your virtual machine, you might feel it's a little bit slow, especially to VNC. So just do it from somewhere else, and you will see it's pretty responsive. So you won't even feel it's running on the virtual machine, and there's no lagging. Of course, the browser takes quite some power away too, and you don't need that. The virtual machine doesn't need any browser, doesn't need anything. The main part is, to me, to get this program installed, and that I have a window to set it up and say, look, kill switch, start at boot, keep running, anything else, kill switch, disconnect. It's not that this is a super safe thing. A VPN is a VPN, right? It just tunnels you, so your ISP will know that you're doing something. He just can't figure out anymore what it is, and maybe you need the NSA to figure out what it is. That's why there are more security videos coming. And by the way, I put now on PayPal me, so times like this are desperate times. I'm kind of off work, struggling like everybody else. I do not put advertisement on under no circumstances. And if you like, PayPal me something. If you beer, coffee, if not, then don't. That's fine too. No hard feelings. Okay, guys, but there are some good videos coming up. It just takes time for me to run some of these things, and I'm really looking forward to share this with you, because it's important nowadays, security and privacy. As I said, you might talk about things you have heard, and all of a sudden you get connected with these things, and they say you're a rebel, you're this, you're that, you know what I mean? And all you did is you heard something and asked a question, and boom, now you get related to that, or connected to this, and it wasn't even your intent, right? So you might have to protect your privacy a little bit, so that you can freely inquire or talk about things without getting in danger. Yeah, like my best example is always, if you Google on friend of you got cancer, you're looking for how to support them, you Google for cancer, now everything to you is Google, it's cancer related. So if you go for health insurance, it's no, look at this, when we track him, he's Googling around for cancer, can't do that, you know. Yeah, they don't know that you looked for a friend, right? So guys, there is some good stuff coming up, and do watch these videos. Really, you got to do it. I mean, not just because I did them, there's somewhere else maybe too. They are somewhere else, but in times like this, there's some security videos coming. Watch them, very important. And they will start with security, privacy, something like that, right? So be aware. Watch this one. Yeah, I hope you watch to the end. I'll cut it off now. Okay, guys, stay tuned. Love you all. See you soon. Bye. Safe recording.